All right, let's do a recap. I've been wanting to do this. Didn't do it last year, and this is my first year doing it, but this is my second year in the kayak tournament world where I fished in like a circuit with a group of people. Fished a couple other tournaments, just entered a few of them, and was able to fish in a couple state tournaments. So I got some local tournaments, and some river tournaments, some lake tournaments, and then a couple state tournaments here to end it out. So this year, 2022. We just ended our last term of 2022. The season kind of starts, and the next season kind of starts in November. So there'll be one coming up next month in November. But right now, all the 2022 season stuff is over. Actually, there's one more tournament from 2022, but it's in March of 2023, and I'm doing a national tournament. But that'll be a big deal. But right now, let's go do a recap. I'm going to recap how much money I won, how much money I lost, what place I got in, what was my average finish, and what I kind of learned. Maybe a little recap at the end, what I learned and how I grew as an angler at the year. But let's get right into like the main stuff. Let's talk about money. We drive places, spend money on food, drinks, snacks, stuff like that. So I'm gonna be rough on this. But I do know how much I won this year. I had two top place finishes. I had two first place finishes, and I had a third place finish. And I had a sixth place finish. And those are the four finishes that paid out money. And there's different amounts because of how different size they were. But so 4 out of 12 kayak tournaments I did this year, I actually got paid for. And that's pretty good. That's really good in the kayak world. I'd say finishing 4 times and actually being in the top 10%, where it's usually the top 10% that are getting paid out. So 4 times in the top 10%, and I got paid. My total earnings this year, which actually is a lot more than I thought it was going to be, once I add it all up, $1,668 is how much I made just kayaking. Wow, I can just retire, right? And live off of that. Don't even have to make YouTube videos. Well, let's see how much that really transfers to. So $1,668 in winning. How much did it cost to enter all those kayaks? So 12 kayak tournaments, 10 of them were $40 a piece. So that's $400. 2 of them were $100 a piece, $600 in fees. So $600 just to enter those kayak tournaments. So I'm down to $1,068. Still pretty cool. Can do a lot of stuff with that. Let's throw in mileage, traveling, gas mileage. We'll just throw in gas mileage and how far there is. So these are pretty, some of them are further than others, but I'd say the average kayak trip, I'm going 50 miles to that place. 50 miles there and 50 miles back. Plus there's probably some driving in between. But let's just say go that day, 50 miles to the place and back. 100 miles a day so 1,200 miles for all the tournaments. If I average 17 miles a gallon in my truck, 17 miles a gallon, and gas is $3.25, that's $745. I think that's what I got it at, $745. So that takes my earnings down to $322. And I'm sure all y'all know I spend more than $322. That's in food and snacks and drinks just for those 12 trips. Plus there's pre-fishing trips and just driving to other places and everything. So so kayak tournament in what I'm doing, it's fun to win money. It's fun to earn that money, but you got to have, if you either can afford to do it for fun, some people are going to get some sponsors to do some of the trips to pay for some of the stuff. Me, I'm actually get to make YouTube. So I make YouTube videos. So it does cost a little bit to do these, to go to these places, but I get to make a YouTube video out of it and hopefully make more money through that. So it's pretty cool just to say I won $1,600 in kayak winnings. That's pretty cool. I got 12 kayak tournaments, so I got them all written down. Let's just go through them all, and we'll go over each one and where I placed. So the first one that I did, there was actually 2 in my group that I didn't do. They were early in the year, and I wasn't able to do them. And there was one extra one that I picked up with another group. And I think that's all I did was for one extra. I don't think I did anything else. So first one was in January. I'm pretty sure the date might be off a little on a couple of these, but January, and it was a Honeywell. I could pick where I wanted to go. I went to the Hiwassee River. It was really cold that day, and I ended up 9th out of 35 people, so no money there. I remember I caught some fish. It wasn't a great day of fishing. Next one was Norris in February. I ended up 11th out of 26. Didn't catch I caught a few fish, didn't catch a lot. It was another cold day. I remember that one. Let's go to March. Usually things are getting good in March. March, I was on Watts Bar. It was a joint event. It was a couple groups together. I got 36 out of 61. So, yeah, nothing awesome. Next one was Lake Cherokee in April. And I tried to use subscriber lures. I remember everywhere I went to two or three ramps, and there was other kayakers everywhere I went. I couldn't get away from people. I got 39th out of 59. It was another joint event. There was more guys out there, but so 39th out of 59. So that's in the bottom half there. Then boom, here we go. In May, things started warming up. Things come alive. We had a tournament on Chickamauga. First place. So I got a first place trophy in May. First out of 27 people. I had the big bass on that one too. That was an awesome day. I remember that was an awesome day. That was probably my best tournament of all my tournaments that I've done this year. Obviously I got first, but it was just an awesome day fishing. I remember I used the Yum Dinger only, and I used the bubblegum yellow swirl. I was kind of starting to use it more and more. I used it in this tournament thinking, okay, I'm gonna try it out, and it caught so many good fish. That was one of the tournaments and one of the times where I'm like, I'm just gonna prove this lure to myself, and it was amazing. I caught 2 over 20 inches, and it was the biggest 3 tournament. I had 2 of them over 20 inches, and I made $584 in that tournament. So that was first out of 27 people. I think it was May. I did a river tournament on Holston River, and I got 6 out of 15. Didn't get paid in that one. Wasn't a lot of people. I caught a bunch of fish that day. That was fun. So it was a different group that I went with, and I floated with Eric and some other guys, and caught a lot of fish. So a lot of fish caught. Fun time. Got rained on. We got back late. It was a lot of work in that one. That was a fun memory. I was hoping to catch a few more bigger ones, but definitely really cool. In June, we had a Douglas Lake, a joint event. I got 29th out of 43. Not a good showing there. Oh yeah, I remember I tried to do that one with some ultralight rods only. Only brought 3 or 4 ultralight rods. And also, I think I had COVID or something because I was sick that day, and I remember being very tired and just out of it, aggravated. And that one's a little further away. It's a 2-hour drive, so I got there late. That's a little further. That's more than 50 miles. That's probably more like 100 miles from me to that ramp. But ended up 29th out of 43, so not very good there. Wasn't a fun day of fishing. I made videos on all of these. I've tried to make videos on every tournament, so I'm pretty sure I've made a video on every tournament that I've fished in. Because there's some that I didn't catch very many fish. In August, in July we had a Melton Hill tournament, and it was super hot. I remember I almost didn't do that tournament because I knew it was gonna be so hot and miserable, and I went out and I did it, and I got 3rd out of 30. Made $101 in that tournament, so I was really proud that I went out there and did it. And it wasn't a great. That was a bad day of fishing. I caught like 4 or 5 fish total, but nobody was catching anything. So some days, those rough days, like sometimes those are better for you because if you can just catch a few, you can do good. So 3rd out of 30. So this is where I was like on a good streak right here. And then we had River Wars, and River Wars we could pick where we wanted to go, and I had a place locally like 20 minutes away from me. And I'd fished and caught some giants like 2 days earlier. I went back. I was so confident. This was the first tournament that I went to that I knew I was going to win. I just knew I was going to win. If I wasn't going to win, I was going to get second. I was like, I'm winning this thing. There's fish there, and I got first place. First out of 33. Made $505 on that tournament. Yeah, and the River Wars, like the pre-fishing video I had and the fishing video, both of those were just amazing days. Those are kind of like, it's got to go downhill after that. I was catching a ton of fish. The fishing was on fire in that area, and I was just catching a bunch. But we're going to move to, let's see here, September, and we had a classic on Tellico, and man, what a change. Talk about catching a ton of fish to catching nothing. I fished all day, had 0 with like an hour to go, went up this little creek and caught 3 little ones finally in the last like hour and a half. It was not a good day of fishing. I struggled. I had a bunch of fish I had several fish come off. I just couldn't find stuff. But it was a new area. I was trying new spots. Got 13th out of 25 somehow because it was a tough place, and a lot of people were having a tough time. And then we had 2 state tournaments, and this one right here, I did both these last year, and I did decent, but I didn't get paid. And this one, we had the Bass Nation state tournament on Chickamauga, and that was awesome. It was a 2-day tournament. One of my best 2 days, like combined, put together. I got 6th out of 107 people. dude, I was so thrilled, and that's why I get to fish in a national tournament in March. I got $478 out of that one. If you got top place on that one, it was several thousand. It was like $4,000, I think. But I got 6, so I got 478, and secured my spot in the national tournament. Then we had another state tournament, another Tennessee state tournament, which was the KAST state tournament, and I was really excited about that. Went out to Kentucky Lake. We went out pre-fished. This one was also a $100 fee one, just like the Bass Nation one. And this one, we stayed out there for 2-3 days. This one I just did recently, and probably the worst tournament I fished all year. Like I had a couple other tournaments that were bad. This was the worst 2 days of fishing out of all my tournaments, and it was in a state tournament, and I got 66 out of 85, so pretty low there, and yeah, pretty close to the bottom there. I couldn't even get a limit either day, so this was like, that was a horrible day. A horrible 3 days. It was 3 days of like practice fishing, and then the 2 days of tournament was just really rough on that one. So I wish I could have just erased that one, and it would have made my stats look a lot better. I want to see what my average finish is. I'm not gonna factor in how many people. I'm just gonna factor in where I placed. Well, that was a lot of factor in, and it looks like I averaged 18th place out of 45. So average was 45 people, and I averaged getting 18th out of 45. So kind of mediocre, but it's like all it takes is a couple good days to get first place, and then you can have several bad days in a row or something like that. So I don't know if that's good or bad. 18 out of 45. I think it was like, was that 40%? I'm in the top 40% or top 40%. So it's better than being in the bottom 40%, I guess. So anyways, really cool just to kind of go through the stats and add up different stuff and try to keep track of a few things. Can I do better next year? I don't know. Am I going to put as much effort into it? I'm not sure either. I'm going to start out this next year. We got a tournament next in 2 or 3 weeks. I don't even know. I gotta start. I don't even got my schedule printed out or anything, but I'm excited to get back into it. A lot of times I wait maybe till spring, but I like doing the winter ones. The winter ones push me and drive me, and I've had some success in the winter ones, and then sometimes the summer ones are tough, and then sometimes you never know. You never know which day is gonna be a tough day or easy day out there. You don't know if it's gonna rain, it's gonna snow, gonna be 95 degrees, or what you're going to come across. So that's why I like going out. I try to pre-fish a little bit when I can, but mainly just going out in those tournaments and then talking to everybody afterwards and seeing how everybody did, and just going out there and trying to catch a few fish. And I was able to win me a few tournaments. Oh, I forgot to show the River Wars tournament. So got a couple there. Here's the one from last year. I got one last year, first place, and they only give out trophies for the first place finishes. So this one was a day I showed up at the right spot, right time. And I got on some fishing, like I think it was March or April, and they were just feeding in this really shallow like creek thing. Chickamauga was one where I knew the fish were there. Didn't know I was gonna catch giants. I'd fished that area enough. I didn't pre-fish the day. I pre-fished like a month before it. So I was just gonna go back to the same place, and I fished that spot a few times. So it was something I was familiar with. And then the River Wars was a place that I knew fish were there, and I'd pre-fished it and caught them and stuff like that, and it was a place I'm familiar with. But you can show up anywhere and win a tournament on a spot you've never been to before or anything, so that's what's fun about these tournaments. All right, well, if you like kayak tournaments, make sure you're following me on my regular channel, and we do these I try to do about once a month, and there's a couple new ones I might try to do this year. I'm not sure how it's going to go, and I'm always trying to set up my kayak better and my fishing equipment and my gear, my camera stuff and all that, and trying to get better at making videos and also at performing and doing good in the tournament. So anyways, thanks for watching.